Fayetteville now as the Arkansas Razorbacks have game number 2 under interim head coach Bobby Petrino. Glad to be joined by Trey Daerr. First of all, Trey, you're not in your usual digs over there. It looks like a nice, crispy, nice day there in Fayetteville. Tell us about your surroundings.
Yeah, this is free advertising. I'm not sponsored. I don't have any kind of influencer deal, anything. I can't influence anybody. Hell, I can't influence myself. We are at the River Crest Orchard. If you're ever in Fayetteville, it's awesome. I'm here with my daughter. My parents are in town, so they're kind of running around. They got the apple cider and the pumpkin patch and a bunch of stuff for kids. So highly endorsed. They're making a lot of money here.
I love it. All the fall all the fall characteristics there, all coming together in one. You got family, you got apple cider, and everything else. Well, we'll let you get back to your family really quickly here. Thank you so much for your time. You said the word river, and it made me think. Speaking of river, you were this close to having to jump in that bad boy last week, Tennessee and Arkansas. You made that promise a week ago. How nervous were you for having to fulfill the promise of jumping in the river had the Arkansas Razorbacks scored 4 points?
I would have never been happier to be in the river. And I hate to be a Debbie Downer. I do. The final score looks pretty good. But what's really changed? Sam Pittman lost a lot of close. What was he, 4-19 in one-score games at Arkansas, or 4-20, whatever it was? So, that's really nothing new. And another thing, look, credit to Bobby Petrino for the team not quitting. Because whenever, hey, really good effort there in the start. That's kind of what you expect. And then all of a sudden you're down 17 there early fourth quarter, and you think like, oh, man, this could really get out of hand. They could lose this game by 30 points if they start to press, turn the ball over kind of thing. But no, they fought to the end. Good effort, good finish. But let's be honest, they were still down by 17. Tennessee lifted off the throttle there a little bit. It almost cost them the game.
Yeah, they did.
All you got to do is you get off the field in third down and you get the ball back. Tennessee's in a world of trouble. But it didn't. Woulda, coulda, shoulda. That's the story for a lot of teams. So, you're close, but they got to start winning these close games.
Absolutely. There were some bright spots in this game for me, and as you mentioned, I think you articulated it perfectly. That maybe some of the foot off the throttle for Tennessee as they get ready for Alabama, maybe looking ahead as well. However, on the field between the lines, Taylen Green looked really, really solid last week. What do you make of him and just his progression moving forward, both under Sam Pittman and under Petrino? I know Petrino's been there the whole time, but just Petrino now as a head coach.
No, with Petrino, clearly the messaging got through. The effort was better. You still got 486 yards defensively. That's not acceptable. But it looked different. Even though they gave up 34 points, they gave up 486. That's one of the best offenses in the country that did that to you on the road, tough place to play, which not that necessarily affects the defense. If anything, the defense should probably be playing better on the road, just given the lack of crowd noise, some of the variables. They don't, their communication should be on point. But Taylen looked good. It was really solid. A nit to pick though would be the turnovers, and both of them were really something that he could control. Really, he was pressed. It was they got some pressure on him. He was flushed, and whenever you do that, you speed a kid up. Sometimes you make a bad decision, and that's really what happened there on the 2 fumbles. And he's trying to get the ball out. And if they're going to be aggressive, they're going to collapse on you. A mistake can happen, and that's exactly the kind of situation that they put him on. So just really a couple plays away from Taylen having another special game. But man, that kid is locked in. I'm really confident in saying this. He's going to get a chance to play in the NFL.
Absolutely.
I don't know if it'll necessarily be as a starter, but I really think that he's shown enough already. He's going to get drafted. It's just a matter of where.
Absolutely. I want to pick your football brain for a second before we skip ahead to this upcoming week. Now that you've seen Tennessee up close and personal, does this look like a team that can really compete and really play for a championship? Because they look like a seesaw team as far as a great offense, but a defense that gives up a lot of yards and points.
Yeah, a lot of people keep on pointing to college football model now, guys, being like NFL light, and that's what I see. No matter how good a team is, you cannot. There's no more weeks off. The dregs of the world, like UCLA, Northwestern, Vanderbilt. Is Vanderbilt favored this week?
Yes, they are. Patrick pulled this stat. Patrick pulled this stat for the first time since 1948. They're favored over LSU.
That is unbelievable. That's crazy. And they're probably going to win the game. But yeah, hey, Arkansas can get some people, of course. What they can do offensively. A&M coming in here, really good team. I think we all probably can agree the best or the second best team in the conference defensively. They can really get after you. And nowadays, you have to adjust your expectations. A dominant defense isn't 10 points a game anymore. A dominant defense now is holding people to 20.
Mm-hmm.
And A&M can do that. I'm a big mock draft guy. You go up and down their roster. You don't necessarily see those guys that are first and second round pick, but at the college level, they got some dudes defensively. And they can really get after you. And Mike Elko runs that, tough-minded sort of program for what you want if you're building what is, in the SEC, a high-end defense. So people really, all the attention on James Franklin and Penn State making that change, $50 million, the second biggest buyout we've seen in college football. That's where A&M was just a couple of years ago with Jimbo Fisher, and they've gotten better. I can't ever remember them being number 4 in the country.
Right.
Not even in the Johnny. They had some squads with Johnny Manziel.
Yep.
I think it might have been at the tail end of Von Miller there, Myles Garrett, Mike Evans on that team. Johnny Manziel himself was a superstar in college. Ryan Swope was a superstar in college. It's really, really good players. I don't ever remember them getting to the top 5. So this could be the best team really they've ever had in that college football playoff BCS era.
Absolutely. We got a chance to hear from interim head coach Bobby Petrino about the offensive line heading into this matchup.
I mean, some of it came on third down, what you're talking about on the show looks and different things they do. And, although I was very, very proud of us only having one penalty, not having any pre-snap penalties with that noise and in that stadium, which is actually pretty amazing. We did have a couple communication errors, and that's what showed up is, the guard not telling the tackle one time and the other tackle not getting the call one time, and it ended up being a communication issue, although we didn't get a penalty on it. One of them, maybe it'd have been better to get the penalty than the miscommunication. But for the most part, they did a nice job of handling the atmosphere and handling the noise, and I thought that was a nice job by Taylen and of course, our offensive line.
As you mentioned, Trey, the road gets not easier at all against Texas A&M this week. What will it take to be that team that plays the spoiler to Texas A&M and be able to pick up whether it's a win or a moral victory? I don't know how you see this game playing out. The line is respectable though, and maybe because a lot of it's because it's in Fayetteville. But I mean, the line's 7.5 as of right now. Some money coming in seemingly there on Arkansas this week. What will it take this week to be able to pull off the win?
Yeah, and I think that line has a lot to do with, as I mentioned there, kind of like college football, NFL light now for more weeks. It's kind of a lazy opinion. I don't really have a lot of evidence, and I don't have the guts to pick Arkansas, but I kind of sort of think not that they will win, but I really see them competing.
Yeah.
Home crowd. I think there's going to be a lot of support for Petrino. I saw enough from Tennessee to know that Petrino has the attention of that roster. Teams have put up, the right offense has put up numbers on Texas A&M. Notre Dame moved the ball against that defense. So I think that, a fully committed Arkansas from top to bottom, I think that they can get the 24, 28, 30 points in this game. Arkansas's got the better offense.
Yeah.
Arkansas's got the better court. A lot of people love Marcel Reed. I still think Taylen Green is the better of the two quarterbacks on the field. Petrino's on the record. He said this before the Tennessee game.
Yeah.
Basically, what winning comes down to is who has the better quarterback, whose quarterback performs better on Saturdays. And he's not wrong. 90% of the time that is the case. But does Arkansas have enough infrastructure-wise around Taylen Green with the protection, with the skilled players, with getting enough stops defensively that they can do that? One thing I loved out of the Tennessee game that really gives me hope, yeah, the defense gave up 486 yards, but when they really had to have stops, like when they gave up turnovers, other than the turnover that was the 15-yard line, the defense immediately got the ball back.
Yeah.
And Arkansas hasn't had that in 2 or 3 years, with a defense that's strapping up their helmets and patting those guys on the head as they come off the field saying, don't worry, we got this.
Right.
So that was a great sign. And if you could do that against Texas A&M with the home crowd, what Arkansas is going to have to do, what their model is they're going to have to drag people into the deep water, get the game to the fourth quarter, and then does your head coach, does your quarterback, can they out-execute the other side? If it's a 7-3, a tie game there in the fourth quarter. And I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. I think they do. That doesn't mean they go 4-3 here in the Bob Petrino 7 games.
Yeah.
But I do think they get some people, and I think this week is ripe for the picking. I like Arkansas. I really do.
I was shopping around as you said those words, and I was wondering what the money line number needed to be for you to lay a little lettuce on it. I'm seeing 250s, I'm seeing 240s. I don't know if we can get 300, but plus 250. Does that sound tasty?
I don't bet, but that's a good number. I won't do it. I love following the money. I love seeing where it's at.
Yeah.
My problem with gambling is no matter how good you are, it's a 50-50 proposition.
Yep.
So they're eventually going to get you.
Yeah.
So what's really the point, you know?
I think the number's like 52.6% to be that you have to hit.
Where they really pound you is on the parlays. Dude, you're giving away your money.
Right.
You can't.
Oh, yes.
Don't expect to hit a 2 or 3 leg parlay unless you're, really just screwing around. You're in Las Vegas or something. You want to throw, $50. Don't do it. You're giving away your money.
I've always said that. We should the three of us, we should have like a gambling education course because you nailed it. You nailed it. If you like a parlay, what you need to do is if you have $50, then you take all but $5 and you bet them all single. And then you take the $5 and you put the $5 in the parlay because the parlay just in case you hit. But if you like all your bets, there's no need to hit 2 of 3 consistently, lose your parlay, but hit 66% of your bets. It makes no sense. But no. I just wanted to see if that enticing.
If you're going to do parlays, I'd take the small money. Be betting like 10-point favorites money line.
Correct. Yes.
10 or more, and I would do 3 or 4. But then really, it's like, well, how much is that going to pay?
Yeah.
And then we just saw Penn State. You got as a 20-point favorite in back-to-back weeks.
Right, absolutely. I think Patrick had one thing for you. It might be a yes or no question on this.
See, on this show, we like to speculate a little bit, and you brought up a name
I love speculation.
Good, because you're gonna do some speculation right here.
I know where this is going, and I already like it. Go ahead.
Is he the next head coach?
Yes. Man. UCLA makes a lot of sense only because there's been overtures from the West Coast in the past. I really would be surprised if James Franklin didn't get a good job.
Mm-hmm.
Arkansas is a pretty good job.
Yep.
UCLA is a pretty good job. I think Florida's a great job. I find it hard to believe that a fired head coach gets a good job. But the guy's a winner. I love James Franklin. I really do. I don't think he got enough credit for what he did there.
Mm-mm.
I never thought he was going to get fired until he started. I never had a problem with him losing the close games because they really didn't have the resources to win those close games. They didn't really commit. They were always underdogs in that game. But what James Franklin did that was so impressive to me is he never lost the games he was supposed to win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That changed in the last 2 weeks.
Yep.
That's why he got fired. He would have been fine if they would have lost to Oregon and they would have lost to Ohio State. Been 10-2, went to the playoff. The fan base would have been frustrated, but he would have kept on cashing the checks. So he's still going to get his money. Arkansas is crazy not to interview him. I don't know if Arkansas could do. I don't know if Arkansas could do better than James Franklin, but I don't know if Franklin can win at Arkansas.
Oh yeah.
He wanted Vanderbilt, but it was a different Vanderbilt. The East was back division days. The East was really down then.
Right.
Georgia was not what Georgia
That's a good
is.
point. Yeah.
I think he would recruit well here. They could do a lot worse. I think it's a good hire. People that would be down on it, I think that's foolish.
Absolutely.
It's a proven winner, but I think if you take out 2020, I think since the Rose Bowl year in 26, I think Franklin's averaged 9.5 wins a year.
Wow.
I can't see him doing that at Arkansas. He's got 34 wins in the last 4 years.
I know. Yeah.
Fourth most in the country. And I would have fired him too.
Yeah, exactly. You
can't lose to UCLA and Northwestern.
No.
I keep you if you go 9-3 or 10-2, but the team it quit on him.
Yep.
And they the highest paid defensive coordinator in the history of the sport, a really high paid quarterback, a high end roster. They had invested to win. But will Penn State come to regret this when Nebraska fired Frank Solich?
Yep.
They really haven't gotten it back.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't. Matt Rule, it looks like they're probably going to be, okay, maybe have a 8, 9, 10 win season this year. But, be careful what you wish there. What's another, kind of program sort of fired somebody, and it took Tennessee when they fired Philip Fulmer.
Yeah.
They had become an 8-4 program, and they said, we're not an 8-4 program.
Right.
It took them 15 years to land on Josh Heupel. So, be careful what you wish for, but ultimately, unprecedented stuff. You can't lose games like that to UCLA and Northwestern, not after the level of investment that was made.
No question at all. I'm sure that'll be a talking point from
Arkansas could do. I think Franklin's probably a better coach than Rhett Lashley, who a lot of people connect the dots with.
Yeah. There's a ton of people who are saying that about Lashley, and Lashley's got interesting games.
And again, I got on the show today and I said, cross off the top 3 names and start at name number 4. I don't think Franklin's a top 3 name, so he's on my list.
Hey,
there we go.
He's on the list for multiple reasons because he's not a top 3 guy and he's got ties to the SEC.
If Florida wants him, I don't think there's any way he turns.
Me too.
Right.
Me too.
Don't. But if you're Florida, how do you sell to your fan base?
Right.
Hey, this guy had all the resources at Penn State.
Yeah.
He was 4-21 against top 10 teams. We believe we're Florida. We're a better program than Penn State. We got 3 national titles since 1996. We have Urban Meyer. We have Steve Spurrier. We have legendary head coaches. Why are we hiring a fired head coach?
Right. That'll be really interesting as it moves forward. And if Florida does fire, Florida does fire Billy Napier, yeah. If the head-to-head competition doesn't go to who you like better, Florida or Arkansas.
Who's that? I love Marcus Freeman. That name's been kicked around Penn State. I can't believe. Shame on Notre Dame if they don't match or exceed what Penn State would offer them. I don't even necessarily believe that would happen. But Marcus Freeman would be a slam dunk. Florida's a better job than Penn State, certainly.
Absolutely.
I don't know. Maybe it depends.
We'll
it depends on what your flavor is.
Absolutely. We got a lot of time to talk about it. And Trey, thank you for your time here on Southeast Sports Plus. Enjoy the apple cider, enjoy the family, and have a great time, man. It looks beautiful.
There we go.
All right, guys, enjoy it. Always love hopping on. Big things from Arkansas this week. I think it's going to be a hell of a game. Weather could be an issue. We got some severe weather, so delay could be in the case. A lot of rain. It could affect how the game is played.
Interesting. Trey flirting with a possible upset there.
I just don't have the guts to take Arkansas, but I really like it.
I like it. So if you like the possibilities, Trey's got you. Trey, thank you for your time, brother.
Later, guys.